have a biochemistry degree, but learned during college and working in laboratories that I didn't want to work in a laboratory, didn't want to go get a PhD, and actually ended up pursuing a minor in political science. So I was looking for a place where I could combine my love for science with the policy side of things as well. And ended up working on Capitol Hill, did a fellowship at the National Nuclear Security Administration, but when I finished my master's degree, I applied to the Presidential Management Fellows Program and came through the PMF program, as it's known, to DTRA. So that's how I ended up here.
I started working in a very high technical area to leverage that physics. To leverage that physics background, and I was a major, and I was fundamentally just a program manager. You know, running a $30 million program, learning all about that, but it was very physics-based and very technical in nature. So yeah, I found it interesting from a physics perspective, but as a hard-charging Army guy, it was kind of an eye-opener, let's just put it that way.
Found out, I was really excited that we have such a huge impact on the world and the safety. So it made me feel proud to be a part of the team and what we're doing to keep everyone safe.
The moment that you step in the door, you can kind of feel an energy about the people's desire to get after the mission set. Everybody here loves the mission.
So I think what's important now is reaching out to the next generation. I mean, that's our workforce.
I found the work really interesting, and the people, I really enjoyed working with the people I worked with, so I've stuck around for almost 28 years now.
So before I started, I knew it was a relatively small agency, but played a large role in combating, countering the threat of weapons of mass destruction. And that's always been an intellectual interest of mine, so I was actually familiar with DTRA before I came here.
Well, the agency itself, again, it's an evolutionary agency. We adjust to the mission and what we need to do. It's very professional, so we do what we're told, and we carry out the best we can. So,
Director Oxford's way ahead to me is phenomenal. The ability to start working this problem set much more left of left, and then to start the things and initiatives and his strategic imperatives really fit nicely with what I do.
But other tasks, include we're trying to bring in our Five Eye Coalition partners into DTRA to kind of change the culture of DTRA. They haven't ever had, a real strong relationship with our coalition partners, and they're all doing really great things, especially across the UK and Canada and Australia with nuclear deterrence and WMD, threat network analysis and things like that. So I think those type of, leaning forward for the director and seeking out opportunities for the agency to be relevant and be agile is really what I think the DAG is meant to do.
Just watching how DTRA then really came into its own as a combat support agency, answering a heck of a lot of questions from a lot of high-level people that probably didn't even know what DTRA was at the time. So, but then to see what it is now, it's really come into its own.
We were actually using those drugs, which weren't FDA approved yet, but were in trials to help save people. And it was really great to get that sense of fulfillment that this is something I've worked on and it's actually helping people in the real world.
People say, why have you been here at DTRA so long? And I said, well, DTRA is like being at different organizations. We evolved, so the organization 20 years ago is not the organization today. And we evolve. It's really like being 5 or 6 different organizations. So there's one thing you can count on, and that's change. And I think we've, at least in IT, I've become good at that, and I'm accustomed to it, and I take that as a challenge, not something negative. So I've enjoyed what I've been doing here because it's not constant.
Well, when I got an assignment to then DNA, which became DSWA and DTRA, it was a special duty assignment, and my perception was, and you're going to laugh, my family joked that this is where the big red button was, you know. But then when I got here, you know, it was really interesting because we're so close to the heartbeat of the nation, Washington, D.C., and that we have such a significant mission and role to play in the safety and security of all the citizens in the United States and really influence what happens in the world.
The best part of my job is the people, serving the people, the face-to-face interaction, and just making people happy. That's what I enjoy. That's where my passion lies.
And the Defense Technology Security Administration. If you brought all these pieces together, the sum of the parts would be greater than what they were individually. And so there was this thought, there was a word that hasn't been used recently called synergy, that these organizations would come together and they would build synergy, and so they would be able to do more.
If it wasn't for DTRA, I'm not so sure that we would have that pulse point, you know, that the senior leadership in the department would have that pulse point to come to say, okay, these are the people we need to go to get answers, to make the difference we need.
So I've stayed here a long time because it's a great place to work. I've been able to do and see things that I couldn't have imagined before I came here. I've learned so much, and the people I've interacted with. I mean, if I had to tell people out there, I'd say come work here.
We have an incredible mission. We're very lucky to have it. We're tasked with looking at things that might happen and trying to put real capability in front of it to stop it, to mitigate the damage, to deal with the consequences not only of natural but of man-made disaster. And we're empowered and funded to go out and help partner nations to build that own capability within their nation.
I think that we've been able to adapt by staying ahead of the challenges that we see. I think that we put a lot of our efforts into planning. I think we have a vision and we follow it. So I think we're staying ahead of the curve, and we're being preemptive instead of reactive.
We have what I would call a changing strategic environment. And DTRA, to me, has been good about changing what it is to anticipate and even prepare for the coming strategic environment.
Appreciate your time here because it's a fantastic mission with a fantastic group of dedicated professionals that could very likely be a high point in your career.